This week we are talking some Mario remaster rumors, some scrap storylines from Star Wars Episode 9, and some big video game sales that are just in time for the COVID-19 quarantine, plus some more news and reviews on Your Herd with Nerds.
Welcome into the podcast. I'm Brett.
I'm Dorian.
And we got some nerd news for you. So we have some Mario games that are rumored to come out, which is probably the most exciting news of all Nintendo in this whole year.
Yeah, no, I think so here. Basically, VGC.com reports that Mario is getting some of his games remastered, specifically his 3D games.
Specifically the good games.
Yeah, so we got this. Basically, this report is saying that it's supposed to be Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Galaxy, all in one package for Mario's 35th anniversary.
I'm getting it if it's remastered.
And also Mario 3D Worlds, the one that came out on Wii U.
That one wasn't bad.
Yeah.
You almost lost your friendship with Tim.
I almost did, yes. So I'm probably going to have to avoid this one like the plague.
Probably.
But basically, that game is reported to get a deluxe edition, new levels and whatnot. And on top of all that, a new Paper Mario game that is supposed to be going back to its roots, like traditional turn-based, and you have partners and all that good stuff, that is supposed to be coming out as well, or is supposed to be getting announced as, alongside this.
That's pretty cool.
And originally, this report is saying that they were planning on doing this as one of their announcements for E3. They were planning on having like this big Mario party,
Badoom.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying so hard to figure out how I was going to say that without
sounding cliche. And
exactly.
Cheesy.
Yeah. But no, they were supposed to have like this big celebration for like Mario's 35th anniversary for at E3, but obviously E3 is not happening this year, so they're going to have to refigure like how they're going to roll out this announcement here. But my thoughts and feelings on this, if the collection if it's just like HD ports, I'll pass because I still can play like all those games.
Yeah, I have most of them.
Exactly. But let's say if these are like remakes and let's just say like only one of them like got redone graphics, which would be Mario 64 here.
Yeah.
If that was a thing, I'm in. Yeah. I mean, I would love to play Mario 64 with like better graphics and whatnot.
I think we got a tease of it in Odyssey when you go to down that one tube into
into like Peach's Castle.
Yeah,
and
Mario 64 world, basically.
Exactly. No, it's great. I mean, the most exciting news for me is the new Paper Mario game. I mean,
RPG Mario.
Paper Mario was my jam. I loved the one on N64. I loved the one on GameCube. And it's going back to its roots supposedly. And but a couple months back, I was reading a rumor or a report about, new Paper Mario game in the works, but a 2D Metroid game in the works with that information. So,
right, yeah, I did hear that too.
So if this Paper Mario news, it seems to be looking, more and more likely, I think there's a pretty good chance that 2D Metroid game is going to be happening as well here.
Yeah, I can see that happening for sure. All right, so we have some more Nintendo news later, so if you're into that, stay tuned. But we have some Star Wars news, starting with kind of a bummer thing, but also, I mean, we kind of saw it coming with Solo is potentially not going to ever have a sequel. And this comes from the director, I believe, or the writer. Yeah,
one of the writers.
So one of the writers, John Kasdan, it's a tough sell just because of poor performance in the box office now. This movie is a lot better, I think, than people give it credit for.
I mean, it's a decent movie. I don't think it's,
it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, yeah.
I would be really, I would be excited for a sequel just because of Maul.
Yeah.
Maul and then Kira, what was her name? I really liked Kira in this. The guy that played Solo is kind of okay. But then you got Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, no, he stole the show as Lando.
He did.
Yeah.
So did Chewie. And so it sucks that we probably won't get this. I think this will eventually be a Disney Plus series.
Yeah, I mean, I want to believe you, but I mean, he did say that, he doesn't even think that, at least right now, there are no talks of like turning it into a Disney Plus show, which I think if Solo was like a Disney Plus series, like the movie, I felt like that would have probably been received a lot better, and like it would have been more well thought of here. And I think it lends itself better to a Disney Plus show. And if you did do a Disney Plus show of like Solo, have the, bring the cast back, finish the storylines with like, Darth Maul and all that and Kira, I think this would actually be, a show I would tune in for. And
big time.
Yeah. I mean, but it's honestly not surprising that, just given like how troubled the production was on this movie, because, originally it was supposed to be the 21 Jump Street, Lego Movies, Into the Spider-Verse guys, directing this movie.
Lord and Miller.
Yeah, Lord and Miller. And
they dropped,
and they had to bring in Ron Howard here. So, I mean, obviously that complicated things. And then also just the fact that they went through all that trouble and got very little success to show for it. I mean, yeah, obviously it's not great, but
yeah. I mean, hopefully we get something, but
yeah.
We got some new episode 9 details. They came out with, and they delayed this book. I think the art book for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's supposed to come out in March, and I think they delayed it. And it kind of showcases some of the storylines they were going to do, which leaked a while ago anyway.
Yeah.
So why don't you walk us through a couple of those?
All right. So basically, some of the storylines that they were kind of playing around with or kicking around. Finn was going to have a long lost brother. Now, I know what you're thinking. Like, oh, he would have been one of the lost stormtrooper children on like that one planet in Rise of Skywalker, right? I mean, that's where my mind at least immediately went to.
That would make sense.
It would make sense, but nope. Apparently, he's like on like this planet that's just filled with garbage here. So it's like, okay. Finn and Poe were going to have like a side mission that involved like some type of encryption device. Not much details on that. Babu Frick was originally going to be a chef instead of like a droid mechanic. Poe was going to have a scene or a couple scenes where he was on a swamp planet with like a pirate crew going up the river or something like that.
Interesting.
And then the one that actually seems like it actually would have lent itself to the story maybe a little bit more, or at least like fleshed out some details a little bit more, is there was supposed to be like a spider like character species named Oracle that would guide Kylo Ren to Exegol, like how he pretty much just goes to Exegol at the first 5 minutes of the movie here, There was going to be a little bit more detail or a little bit more fleshed out plot on that one here.
Right.
And not coming from the book, but coming from an interview that IGN had with Anthony Daniels, is he said that C-3PO was going to have a larger role than he did in this movie, which I kind of find surprising just because in this movie, he actually, I think, has a pretty decent role here as being like, kind of a plot device. And, he's in most of the scenes, it seems like.
Yeah.
And I mean, compared to like the other movies, he's kind of more of a background character.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm honestly glad they didn't go with most of these storylines. I mean, they're interesting, but I don't think they would have made the movie any better.
No.
And I mean, I think this is just another thing that just goes to show that they really did not have like this big grand master plan. They're just kind of pulling ideas out of a hat, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, that's what it kind of sounds like. I mean, but that's what happens when you're in the early stages of development.
No, it most certainly is here, but it's, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like, they're just like a lot of like little random like plot threads that they just, I don't really see them like really playing out like out on the big screen like they did in the movie, or like, you taking like what Rise of Skywalker is, trying to apply these plot lines. So I think most of them are like kind of just, don't fit in very well.
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about some delays.
Yep.
So some Corona delays.
Yeah.
Iron Man VR is delayed indefinitely.
Yep.
Which I probably would have never played, but it looked cool.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't like, gotten into VR at all, but I hear this one was like an actual, like, actual promising title for like, VR and like what it could do.
Last of Us Part 2 is delayed indefinitely.
because it's now real life.
Yep.
Yep.
Top Gun Maverick delayed till December 23rd, which when was that supposed to come out?
It was supposed to come out, I think, in June.
Huh.
Originally, yeah.
Quiet Place 2's new release date is in September 4th. I would not be surprised if that got pushed back even more.
It's a possibility. I mean,
but hopefully by then, it's back to normal.
Yeah.
I don't get these. So, I don't know if it's Sony or what, but
yeah, it's Sony.
Yeah, Sony's been probably the only company to really push back their titles a year, not just like a couple months, but a full year. They're pushing back.
Fast and Furious
got pushed back. That was the first one.
Yeah.
Now we got Morbius, which is getting pushed back to 2021.
Is Fast and Furious Sony, or is that
I don't know.
Or is that Paramount?
I think that's Paramount.
Okay.
So Morbius is now getting pushed back to 2021.
Yeah.
Ghostbusters is now getting pushed back to 2021.
Yeah, both of them coming out in March 2021, which, I mean, I think it does kind of make sense because here's the thing. I think Morbius and Ghostbusters, in terms of like, interest level, I feel like they're probably like some of the lower movies on the scale. And so if like...
Why not fall though?
Well, that's what I'm getting to is like if the major movies, if you're expecting the major movies to like reschedule in the fall, it makes more sense to kind of like get out of the way. That way you're not getting that as much competition.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's just kind of sad.
No, it is. I mean, granted, I mean, it probably means that, well, I don't know. Actually, it might not. We might not have like really that much of a busier year next year for movies just because production...
No, it's all going to get pushed out another year probably.
Yeah, I mean, the Batman, I think, stopped filming. Yeah, and then
hopefully Mandalorian's done, so we still get that in.
Yeah, I mean,
the fall.
Well, yeah, I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier probably hasn't picked up production yet, so that's probably going to get delayed, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good.
Not good for 2020.
No.
All right, so we have some Switch sales in light of all this chaos. So
I told us so.
Yeah, he did. If you're a Nintendo fan or have a Nintendo Switch, this is kind of the stuff for you. Then we're going to talk about a little bit about the PlayStation sale.
Yeah. So just before we get into it, so just bear in mind, the titles on here are like most of the titles. They're not first party titles. Most of them are like maybe some bigger like third party stuff here. So if you're interested or you're looking to play, good indie game, here are some of our picks here that we found in the sale.
Yeah. So we got Diablo for $30, which that's a good price, especially with all the DLC and stuff.
Right. Well, not to mention too, I don't think Diablo gets like discounted very often, especially not like at this point on the Switch here. So if this is one that you've been kind of mulling over, this probably is the right time to pick it up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think 30 is a decent price point. If it was, I think it should be I think it should be 20 to be honest. But
yeah, I
mean, decent price point for what it is, and you could play with friends and stuff like that.
Exactly. So. Well, it's a pretty it's got a lot of replay value. It's something that you can play for
multiple
a while.
Characters and go through the whole story again. So
yeah,
I like the monk because you're basically the last airbender.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have Broforce for $3.74. This is kind of, I think, for most people who don't know, Broforce has been out for a while. It's a platformer shooter, but it's kind of an interesting take.
Yeah,
you play as all your favorite action heroes from the 90s and 80s.
Yeah, basically, it's all done in 8-bit. You have like the Terminator, you got Rambo, you got
Will Smith from MIB.
You got basically like any like movie action hero, in that period.
Yeah,
pretty much is all there.
Yep.
Here. I mean, it's like the Smash Bros of
it's cool, and it's
Smash Bros Ultimate.
It's co-op,
of
so
80s action heroes. But yeah, it's co-op.
Play with friends.
Yeah,
you're fighting the devil.
Yeah,
and
what's more manly? Yeah.
So. And that's only $3, so I'd say pick it up.
Yeah.
Messenger's $10.
Yeah, which I mean, I really like the Messenger. It's if you like the old school Ninja Gaiden games, this is one you should definitely check out. Even like just old school, style games in general, like kind of like a platformer, kind of like hack and slash game. Like, no, it's a good time, and has a really cool concept where. Later on in the game, you get to flip from the past and the future. So the past will be 8-bit and the future will be 16-bit. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
And then we have My Friend Pedro for 14.
Yeah, which typically My Friend Pedro, I don't think gets discounted very often. So it's one of the ones I threw up on here. Yeah, really fun game. It's, just a bunch of crazy stuff. You have like a slow-mo button where you can slow down time and like shoot your guns. It's 2D shooter. If that sounds like something up your alley, check it out.
Yeah. Huge PlayStation sale as well.
Yeah.
Now we're just talking about a few that we picked up, but the list is super long.
It's really long. And there's a lot of banger PlayStation games on there,
Assassin's Creed,
Fallout, Devil May Cry, Borderlands. Yeah, a lot. We're not talking just maybe some obscure games or some games that were just kind of meh. We're talking some actually pretty decent games here. Yeah,
and so our picks kind of out of the sale were God of War for $15.
Yeah, which typically goes for $20. So it's if you're in quarantine and you're looking for a good single player game to play through, this is probably the best one on PlayStation.
Yeah. Then up is one that's piqued my interest. It's Metal Gear Solid 5 for $4.
For $4 for the standard edition.
But
yeah, for $2 whole more dollars for the definitive edition.
What does that include? Do you know? Probably just more maps and stuff, I'm guessing.
I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's more weapons.
Okay.
Yeah, I only have
I'll pay $2 for more weapons.
Exactly. I only got the standard edition when it came out, so I have
pretty good game from what I remember.
No, it's a game that you get to basically play how you want. It's kind of like it is an open world game. I wouldn't say that's its strongest point. Basically what it is when you start a mission, you're thrown into this big open area. You're given an objective and say, "All right, go." And you get to determine
there's
how
no rails or anything.
There's no rails. You get to determine how it goes. You're basically
how stealth you want to be.
How stealthy you want to be, how guns blazing you want to be. Basically you are making your 80s action movie
that's pretty cool.
Rambo style action movie however you want it to go here. So if you want to go stealth and then grab a hostage, call in the chopper to lay down some fire and then make your way to the evacuation point, you can. It's honestly everybody's got their own way of playing it. It's a good game.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Then we got the Witcher 3 Complete Edition for $15.
Yeah, typically I think retails for $40. If you're looking just for a big game that you want to sink a lot of time into just because you're cooped up inside, this is the Skyrim of this generation. It comes with all the DLC. You got a lot of time that you can sink into it, and the expansions are great. So yeah, no, if you're looking for something like that, check it out.
Yeah, and I don't know, how long does the sale last? Is it a week? I'm guessing it's probably longer.
Definitely when this episode goes up, it will still be going on. I think it's probably at least, a week and a half at most, or minimum,
Yeah, I think we'll probably see more to come just because the, shelter-in-place order has been extended for most states, and, Trump's, kind of, what's the word?
Press briefings or...
Well, yeah, he's just saying he wanted to extend kind of the
shelter-in-place order.
Well, not the shelter-in-place, but the social distancing,
methods.
Limited areas to X amount of people.
Yeah.
Has been extended through April. So we'll probably see some more sales is what I'm guessing. But we're going to take a quick commercial break and be back with some reviews for you. We are back from our commercial break. We're heading into our roundtable review. Dorian, what's up?
So, another week, another Clone Wars episode.
Another Clone Wars ep.
So, why don't you give us the cliff notes on this episode? Yep.
No, just kidding.
It's accurate.
That's pretty accurate.
But let's go into more specifics on why.
So this is episode 7 of 12.
Yeah.
So we got 5 episodes left.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing really happened.
No.
So... Cliff Notes version. The girls that Ahsoka's with, Rafa and
Trace,
hate Jedi because they blame their parents' death on the Jedi, basically, in the war and all that stuff. And, Rafa ends up getting tortured because they got captured by the Pikes in the last episode. Ahsoka has to use her powers.
But it's still able to
kind of keep it under wraps, but they're starting to be suspicious. Like, how can you do this? These things, and
I'm just very athletic.
That's literally her line. I'm just more athletic than I look.
Yeah,
it's like okay. So, and all they do is run in this episode. They're just trying to run away from the Pikes, and get out of Dodge. And the only thing that we get a random masked Mandalorian. And then at the very end of the episode, there's 3 Mandalorians from Death Watch.
Yeah.
And this is going to shoehorn us into the Mandalorian siege, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we could use Ahsoka because they know Ahsoka from her time with them.
Yeah.
From the previous seasons. And so this is going to be Ahsoka's probably call to action, and there's probably something going on, and maybe Maul's involved. But this to me seems like there's really not going to be any action from Obi-Wan, Anakin, or the rest of the Jedi Order. This is literally a season for Ahsoka.
Yeah, I mean, by and large, it seems like.
I would be so mad if I was one of the voice actors. They're like, hey, we're coming back, and you have 5 lines.
Yeah.
But you're the main character.
I mean,
Anakin, sorry, bud.
I mean, depends on how much.
Or Obi-Wan.
Depends on how much they're paying. Because if you pay me the usual amount just to do 5 lines, I'm like, all right, easiest check I ever got.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, this was a garbage episode. But I will say, maybe about 2 things that I actually did enjoy in this episode. I did like that they fleshed out the sisters a little bit more, just because for the most part, this whole story arc, I felt like, okay, I don't care about these people. Let's just get to the Maul action. Let's get going. And, this one, I'm like, oh, okay, that, gives them a little more depth, a little more character to them. But the other thing I did like, too, is, you had some decent action in there. I really like where Ahsoka is, force pushing guys out of cover so the sisters can shoot them.
Shoot him, yeah.
I thought, okay, that's getting some, cheap trick stuff here.
Yeah.
But, but this episode literally did nothing to move the needle on a final season. And they literally start out getting captured by the Pikes. They end getting captured by the Pikes. The only thing that really happened that was of significance was the Mandalorians showing up. And they don't even do anything in this episode. They're just kind of being teased for the most part. So,
which is really, I feel like this is unless they tie it in somehow, but the Anakin episode when they go to the and the whole Bad Batch probably should have been cut completely from this season.
I think,
unless we get payoff in the last 2 episodes, basically.
No, I mean, honestly, it's I don't know. It's just obviously none of these episodes really seem like they're very well interweaved with each other. I mean, unless there's going to be something at the end that we don't know about that is saying okay, this is why all these things are actually coming back together here, and this is why we had to focus on the Bad Batch, we had to focus on Rafa and Trace here. But as far as I can tell, there's really no tie-in or end in sight for this here.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the unfortunate side, I think, of this season right now. Now, obviously, we can't control that as fans, but I'm this seems like 1/2 to a season.
Yeah. Now, I do have a quick question for you. So, in previous Clone Wars seasons, did they actually have an overarching story for that season for the most part? Okay, so it's nothing it wasn't like this where it was just kind of scattered into just mini arcs here or something.
No, not really. I mean, they would have that in the seasons, but those seasons were also 20 something episodes long.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah. But anyway, you have a review or I guess, you have some reviews.
Yeah. Well, basically, last night on the Switch sale, I bought a game called Downwell for $1 and some change.
Yeah.
Super cheap. And basically what it is, it's a roguelike platform shoot 'em up. And I know that's kind of a mouthful and you're okay, how does that work? Basically what it is, it's it has like a kind of like old school, like original Game Boy type graphics. And it's basically an arcade game, you know.
When I saw it, I was like, "Well, this is actually really fun on a mobile platform, like a phone."
Yeah, and I think it was originally designed for mobile, if I'm not mistaken. But basically, the premise of the game is you're just some 8-bit guy making his way down a well, and you're basically jumping on enemies, and also you're shooting enemies with your gun boots here, which also
I like that word, gun boots.
It's a good word.
It's a good word.
Basically, when you shoot your gun boots, they suspend you in air, so you can stay in the air for longer, control your descent, all that stuff. Basically, along the way, you get upgrades and power ups. You can say get your gun boots a power up for like a shotgun or like a laser or something.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then after you complete each level, you get like a permanent upgrade that stays with you for that entire run. And basically my first impressions of this game, I mean, I've only played like maybe, I don't know, just a couple hours of it. It's really addicting, very like arcade style addicting, where you're just like, oh man, I can go farther. I can do better at just one more type thing here, and it's also pretty hard, it's not like just some easy, pushover game, but it's typically priced under $3. It's on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Android, iOS, Microsoft Windows, and even PlayStation Vita if you're into that thing. So
that's still a thing?
I don't know. But that being said, it's like, I mean, I honestly am having a good time with it. If this sounds like appealing to you at all, anything I just said, I'd buy it. I mean, it's literally like, less than $3, like on average. So yeah, I mean, it's a good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't really, the only game, so I don't really have any reviews for games because I've just been buying old games. Mm-hmm. Like I bought the BioShock collection for $15.
Yeah.
All 3 games, which has been pretty fun so far.
Oh, did it come in the mail? Nice.
They come in the mail.
How far are you right now? Are you playing through the first one?
Yeah, I'm going to play through all 3 probably with how long I'm going to be stuck at home for. So
we might have to do Thursday throwback on those here.
Yeah.
I mean, that might have to be a thing.
That might have to be. Right now, it's I forgot how scary the game is.
Oh, really?
Not scary, jumpy. It's jumpy and you're like unsure. Like, whoa. Like, it's not scary like a Resident Evil game, which Resident Evil 3 Remastered just came out, I think, not so long ago.
It did just came out today, actually.
Did you pop on it?
No, I didn't pop on it. I'll probably like maybe either rent it or purchase it on sale here, just because, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm really tempted to pop on Persona 5 Royal here, because I heard like they actually have like enough new content in there to justify the price.
Really?
And I've been wanting to replay that game for a little while here, so that might be the thing to do. So you might have just won yourself a free Persona 5 copy. I don't know. We'll see.
Good stuff.
I'm still in the contemplation phase of that decision, but moving on to our next segment. So last week we did quarantine picks for entertainment. This is kind of like a continuation of that segment. And for this week, I chose a TV show. And it's one that just arrived on Netflix, I think, on April 1st. And it's called Community.
Yeah.
And Community is a godsend.
It's a great show.
Basically, it has to be one of the most underrated shows in recent memory. And for those of you who don't know, it's a sitcom about community college, but with a lot more self-awareness than you would get from like sitcoms, and a lot of meta. Yeah, a lot of meta commentary here. The cast is great. I mean, you have Donald Glover in it, Childish Gambino for those of you who don't know.
Ken Jeong as Professor Chang.
Ken Jeong, Chevy Chase is in it.
Chevy Chase.
Yeah. Joel McHale, Allison Brie, and I mean, it's.
I don't think Joel McHale's a good actor. I know I go on that tangent a lot. I just don't think he's that good.
I don't know. I enjoyed him in Community. I mean, I haven't really seen him in much.
Like he's not bad,
else.
but his character is so dry and like boring to me.
I feel like Joe McHale in that is like
he's the straight guy, the straight man. Like as far as he's the one that doesn't. He's not the funny one. He's very
I think
no nonsense, kind of like.
I would kind of define
deceptive.
him. I would kind of define him as, he's, not completely the audience, but to a certain extent
he kind of is, yeah.
Because he's the one who's like actually reacting to
the silliness that's going on.
The silliness that the average day person or the everyday person would hear, But no, it's consistently funny. I mean, I think it's a must watch for people who like The Office or Parks and Rec.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's in the same vein.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
that was the trifecta of the time was Office, Parks and Rec, and Community.
Yeah. And I mean,
Community kind of got shafted as far as like
whether or not it was going to get canceled.
Well, it was always kind of on that bubble, I feel like.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. Up until about end of season 4, beginning of season 5 is when it loses steam.
I think, like, if I remember correctly, season 4 is kind of where it starts losing steam. Then they kind of come back because I think Dan Harmon left the show, which Dan Harmon, Rick and Morty creator, I think he was starting Rick and Morty at this period in time. And then that's when, like, the writing and the quality, even I think the Russo brothers left the show in season 4 as well here when they were
probably
working on their
Captain
Marvel.
America.
Yeah, Captain America and all their Marvel projects. But no, that being said, I mean, it's I think like, season 4, you start to lose some steam. Then it comes back because I think Dan Harmon did come back.
He did.
In season 5.
Did not save it though.
Did not save it, but I definitely enjoyed it like a lot better than season 4.
Yeah, there's some really key episodes, and that's the season. I don't want to get into spoilers, but like the Floor is Lava episode's really good.
Floor is Lava, the extended Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
There's
a couple.
Well, I mean, your favorite moment of all time in that show happens in that season where minuses are made up.
Oh yeah,
and they
yeah.
riot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man,
it gets you every time.
Yeah, so this is a really solid quarantine pick, especially if you're at home and you got nothing else to watch.
Yeah, it's like lightens the mood.
Yeah, totally. It's a nice ray of sunshine in this gloomy time. Yeah, and I think that's a good pick for this week, and we'll hopefully have some others for you in the weeks to come. And stay tuned for that. But thank you guys for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Check us out on our social media. And, stay safe out there. And who knows what this weather's going to do up in our area. But, stay indoors. And remember, everyone's a nerd about something.
We out.